morning, everyone. I hope you all had a nice holiday weekend. Welcome to the Board of Public Works for this morning's regularly scheduled meeting for today, Monday, December 2nd, 2019.
Good morning, President James. Commissioners Villegas, Garcia, James, Davis, and Caloza are present. President James, we have a quorum. May we please start with bureau introductions, beginning with contract administration.
Good morning, John Ollinger, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Richard Sarguba, Street Lighting.
Wing Tam with LA Sanitation.
Good morning, Ramsey Sawaya, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Pamela Ostrander, Streets LA.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
And TJ Knight, Assistant Executive Officer. We have speaker cards under all of our items and one speaker card under public comment. We have no neighborhood council commentary.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Knight. Let's go ahead and take general public comment, Mr. Sachs.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Sorry to miss last meeting. Still recovering from last Tuesday's Board of Supervisors meeting. Hope we all had a pleasant Thanksgiving. Also, hope you all got to see the rainbow that appeared Thursday afternoon. It's magnificent. Rainbows bring hope, and hope brings faith. That being said, the newspaper yesterday, yesterday or Saturday, I believe, I read that Herb Weston wants to run for for Board of Supervisors, and Mark Ridley Thomas wants to take his place. That's a pretty deep switch between the two of them. I don't know. They're going to bring up a motion that Herb's going to relinquish his seat on the council chambers, give up his house, so to say. That's why he calls it his house. And he's going to run on his record. Whew. That being said, you know, I like coming to this meeting because you give me the opportunity to speak up, and I like being mannerly because I respect the fact that you give me that opportunity to speak up. It's not like I understand that a lot of places you go to different meetings and you find out that people are actually throwing themselves under the bus or being thrown under the bus. And sometimes I have that feeling that, you know, you want to do things better than they are. And the only way you can do that is if you let people come and speak in front of you. And so I really appreciate that. And so I also feel pretty humble coming in front of you to speak. But, you know, when you got to get your hands dirty, you got to get your hands dirty. And that's what has to happen sometimes. And if everybody grabs a hold of a thread and pulls, some things can change. It takes a lot of effort, but some things can change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. No other general public comment cards, so we'll close general public comment this morning. On agenda item number 6, we've got a few contracts for acceptance this morning. I think Mr. Ollinger is there on 6 and 7. Number 6, Council District 11, contract acceptance, Hyperion Treatment Plant, Intermediate Pump Station Screw Pumps Procurement Project. It's a capital improvement project, 2449. Mr. Sachs, you have a card in on number 6. Mr. Sachs passes on number 6. Mr. Ollinger.
Good morning, John Ollinger, Bureau of Contract Administration. I'm here to ask for acceptance on the Hyperion Treatment Plant Intermediate Pump Station Screw Pumps Procurement Project. Capital improvement project is 2449. The work order was SZH11782. The contract was executed by your board on December 10th, 2014 in the amount of $2,389,380. The construction was completed on April 20th, 2017 by Spans Babcock Inc. under contract number C124971. The project provided for the procurement of 6 screw pump barrels with the upper and lower bearings for the Hyperion Treatment Plant Intermediate Pump Station. The project was awarded for $2,389,380 with a contingency of $119,469, giving it a total authorized budget of $2,508,849. 5 change orders were issued, increasing the contract amount by $573,818. The contractor has complied with the equal employment opportunity and labor compliance requirements of the contract. There were no funds disputed or withheld. Therefore, no funds are due to the contractor. Were there any questions?
Any questions on number 6? I don't see any questions on number 6. I'll make a motion that we adopt number 6, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 6. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 7, Mr. Ollinger, you're here for that as well. That's Council District 6, contract acceptance for the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant Chlorine Contact Tank Gate Actuators. It's Capital Improvement Project 6210. Mr. Sachs on number 7.
Yeah, on this one I'll speak. Thank you very much, Arnold Sachs. So, it's one of the reasons you come before the board. You learn something. So, I'm wondering if this contract was also executed like 4 or 5 years ago. Essentially, the work has been done, and you're going to accept the work. The part that I found really fascinating about listening to the gentleman explain the work that was done is there was a contingency fee, and I'm assuming a contingency fee is for cost overruns. And a contingency fee was like $150,000 or 100, because the contract was like $2 million and change. But the cost overruns came to like $500,000 above the contingency fee, or in this case, I guess it would be $350,000 above the contingency fee. When is the cost overruns? Because there were change orders. When are those considered in part of the contract that's negotiated like 5 years ago? While the work is being done, is it considered? I mean, if there's a contingency involved, unless there's some major breakdown or some calamity, I don't understand how you can have a contingency fee and exceed the contingency fee by another contingency fee, and then another contingency fee on top of that. And who authorizes, I mean, change orders have to be made. Look at the 6th Street Viaduct or the bridge, whichever way you want to talk about it. But if they have to be made, they have to be made. But shouldn't this be done in a process that is like from A to Z and not A to M and then N to Z? It just doesn't make sense. And this is why I like to come to this board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Ollinger.
Good morning, John Ollinger, Bureau of Contract Administration. I'm here to ask for your acceptance on the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant Chlorine Contact Tank Gate Actuators. The capital improvement project was 6210. The work order was SCD 11277. This contract was executed by your board on October 19th, 2016 in the amount of $607,000. The construction was completed on July 9th, 2018 by Kiewit Infrastructure West under bond number 166-969, and the contract number is C128410. The project provided for the procurement and installation of 10 actuators for the gates at the chlorine contact tanks and filter effluent dump gates at the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant. The project was awarded for $607,000 with a contingency of $121,400, giving the total authorized budget of $728,400. 6 change orders were issued, increasing the contract amount by $97,056.81. The total cost of the project was $704,056.81. The project was completed at 15.99% above the awarded amount and 3.34% below its authorized budget. The contractor has complied with the equal employment opportunity and labor compliance requirements of the contract. There were no funds disputed or withheld. Therefore, no funds are due to the contractor. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Commissioner Davis.
Of course, I just wanted to state for the record in terms of the work and the labor done on this project as it relates to diversity and inclusion. This is one of those highly subspecialties where we don't have a lot of minorities who are involved in small and emerging businesses in these areas. Is that pretty correct and accurate?
This is very specialized work at the treatment plants that not everyone even has the capabilities to do or do the installations.
Or the training.
Or the training. There's a lot of training that goes involved. It's quite a craft to do some of the work that's done at the treatment plants. It's very specialized.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Is that a motion, Commissioner Davis? I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 7. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any issue sending 7 forthwith? We'll send 7 forthwith. I don't remember if we sent 6 forthwith or not, so if we didn't, we'll do it without objection. Is there a second to my motion that we approve the meeting minutes from two meeting dates of November 22nd and November 25th by Commissioner Garcia? Any objection? Without objection, those meeting minutes will be approved. Agenda item number 8, Contract Administration, Engineering, and the Department of Transportation Project Labor Agreement for the Vision Zero Project Phase 2D Traffic Signals, Curb Ramps, and Left Turn Phasing. Recommending that the board add the Department of Public Works Project Labor Agreement to this project. Mr. Sachs, did you want to put in on number 8? Thank you, sir.
Thank you again. So this is Phase 2D. Was there a project labor agreement with the Public Works, Department of Public Works, Project 1D, or maybe 1A, 1B, 1C? What are the phases of the Vision Zero plan, which is some plan? Vision Zero. You might as well wear a bandana in LA. The only thing that's really worthwhile here are the curb ramps, which is for ADA compliance. And in all the council districts, why aren't the council districts paying for ADA compliance out of council district funds? That's a good question there. You know, they get a ton of money in each council district. Each councilman is responsible for the money that comes into his district. He should be able to say, you know what, we really need to have these ramps done. Never mind the sidewalks, oh my God. But the ramps, we should pay for that. And we could use, I don't know, pipeline revenue. We could use bus bench revenue. We could use AB 1290 revenue. There are multiple sources of money that go into the council districts. And it would look good for the councilmen if they said you stepped up to the plate and took responsibility for actually doing something for the public instead of always trying to line their pockets. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. On number 8, Ms. Ruiz.
Good morning, board members. My name is Michelle Ruiz. I'm here representing the Bureau of Contract Administration, the Office of Contract Compliance. The Bureaus of Contract Administration, also known as BCA and Engineering, with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation, jointly recommend that the Board of Public Works add the Department of Public Works Project Labor Agreement, also known as the PLA, to the Vision Zero Phase 2D project. The project was first advertised Friday, November 1st, 2019, and is located throughout the city, throughout multiple council districts and zip codes, including portions of South Los Angeles and the San Fernando Valley. The city engineer has estimated a total construction cost of $8.9 million. The Vision Zero Phase 2D project consists of installing 9 new traffic signals with curb ramp upgrades, as well as 21 left turn phasing to existing signalized intersections with typical related signal work throughout the city. The project intends to address multiple conflicts related to pedestrian and vehicle movements at intersections. The PLA provides numerous city benefits, including helping to ensure the quality of work is completed on time and within budget, ensuring work is done safely by utilizing skilled workers and a commitment to training, and facilitating an orderly settlement of labor disputes without strikes or work stoppages. The PLA will help to ensure the maximum economic benefit is achieved throughout the city's residents and communities. Completed projects covered by previous and current PLAs have created an average of 13 jobs per $1 million of project cost. Based on the math, the Vision Zero Phase 2D project could potentially generate 116 jobs and continued career opportunities. Adding the PLA will ensure that construction work includes specific targets for hiring local residents, apprentices, and transitional workers that have barriers with employment, which would include homelessness, veteran status, and criminal history. These hiring targets within the PLA are actively monitored by BCA's Office of Contract Compliance. Thus, the PLA addition, which would be added as an addendum, is recommended to the Vision Zero Phase 2D project. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ruiz. There are a lot of projects here for traffic improvements around the city. In particular, something that I always thought this city needed more of when I moved here in 1987. I was shocked at the lack of left turn signals and left turn phasing around the city. So these will be welcome, and a lot of these in the Adams Boulevard area as well. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I just wanted to state for the record that I appreciate the diversity, the geographic diversity by which we are beginning to implement and help to execute the Vision Zero plan, the Zero Phase 2, in this case, Phase 2D. Could you refresh my memory? The overall goal for Vision Zero is what?
It's part of the Executive Directive 10 of Mayor Garcetti to ensure pedestrian safety throughout the city, pretty much bringing it down to zero.
Okay, great. Great. So once again, I appreciate the fact of, driving through many of these areas on a daily basis, even to get to work. I have the greatest appreciation of what this particular project is doing, and I know it will help to improve the quality of life in terms of traffic in those areas. So that is my response to your motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, President. I agree with Commissioner Davis, but I also want to say that the fact that we're including 160 new jobs to folks around our city is what I support the most. So I just want to say thank you for making that happen and including into these projects, and the most that we can include into any city projects outside of Public Works. I understand this is a DOT one, so I'm happy that they also included the project labor agreement. So I definitely support this. Thank you.
That sounds like a motion from Commissioners Garcia and Davis, and Commissioner Closa seconded. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 8. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Any issue sending number 8 forthwith? We will send number 8 forthwith. Ms. Ruiz? Was that your first time? Nice job. I was just thinking, I was like, I think that was her first time. Yeah, nice job. Thank you. Welcome. Agenda item number 1. Engineering, Council District 4, construction order for pre-qualified on-call geotechnical structural construction services contractor list. Mike Perlich and Sons Incorporated, Crescent Drive Bulkheads Project. I received an inquiry about this last night out in my social world. Recommending that the board execute a construction order for the project with Mike Perlich and Sons in the amount of $795,395 with a not-to-exceed limit of $954,474, including contingency. Agenda item number 1, Mr. Sachs. Wait, Mr. Schmidt on number 1. Some folks in the neighborhood are interested in these projects. Go ahead.
Morning, President James, Commissioners, Department Representatives, Mr. Knight, and Mr. Jordan. Patrick Schmidt, Bureau of Engineering, Geotechnical Engineering Division. And as President James stated, we're here to request that the Board of Public Works execute a construction order for the Crescent Drive bulkhead projects, which consist of three locations at 8735, 8765, and 9003 Crescent Drive, with Mike Perlich and Sons in the amount of $795,395 with a not-to-exceed limit of $954,474, including contingency. As you know, the Bureau of Engineering administers the emergency pre-qualified on-call geotechnical structural contractors list in order to provide emergency and urgent necessity construction services for the city. On February 25, 2019, the board approved a list of 9 qualified contractors based on the evaluation criteria set forth in the pre-qualified on-call geotechnical structural contractors list request for qualifications. The contracts were executed on March 29, 2019, and the term is for 5 years and will expire on March 28, 2024. This project consists of 3 bulkheads at 3 locations along Crescent Drive, and these will serve to restore lateral support to the roadway, which was diminished due to erosion of the adjacent slopes. The projects will consist of removal and disposal of existing asphalt and wooden fences, construction of 3 bulkheads with lengths of 40 linear feet, 100 linear feet, and 40 linear feet, and these bulkheads will consist of cast and drill holes backfilled with concrete with steel beams and precast concrete lagging. We will backfill behind the new bulkheads and regrade the road slopes. We'll prepare for new pavement subgrades and construct new asphalt curbs and pavements. We'll install new metal beam guardrails and then we'll hydroseed the regraded slopes to protect them from erosion. On September 19th, 2019, bids for the project were solicited from the contractors on the pre-qualified on-call contractors list in accordance with the executed contracts. On October 10th, 2019, 4 bids were received at the board, of which Mike Perlich and Sons was the lowest bidder. Mike Perlich and Sons bid in the amount of $795,395 was 0.47% above the city engineer's estimate of $791,690. Staff recommends that the board execute a construction order for the project with Mike Perlich in the amount of $795,395 with a not-to-exceed limit of $954,474. Funding for the project in this amount of $954,474 is available in SB1 Road Maintenance Rehabilitation Fund, Fund number 59V, Department 50, Appropriation Unit 50 SKZI. That's the conclusion of this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Commissioner Villegas.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for the explanation. I just had a clarification question. It's showing as an emergency pre-qualified project, and I'm wondering what consists of emergency here. It seems like a improvements on our roadways, and so I just wanted just a little bit of a clarification on that.
Right. For this project, we're actually utilizing the contracts. These contracts were set up for emergency and urgent necessity projects. For this case, we consider this an urgent necessity, which expedites the repair of these situations which are a threat to public safety. So in this case, we're not using the contracts on an emergency basis. This is an urgent necessity project.
Thank you. I would also add, you mentioned public safety. In addition to that, and that's obviously the top priority, but for what we're spending here, if we don't do this work, the type of damage that can be done in any given rainstorm, and damage can happen weeks or months after a rainstorm is over with. This is much cheaper than paying out the liability claims that we would most certainly be faced with. So I appreciate that. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 1. Second by Commissioners Villegas and Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Any
you.
issue sending number 1 forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith. Agenda item number 2, task order solicitation number 1, pre-qualified on-call consultant list. This is Tetra Tech round 2 of selected complete streets program projects in lots of council districts, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 13. Recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to issue the task order solicitation to Tetra Tech from the pre-qualified on-call civil engineering services consultants list to provide pre-planning, pre-design, and project management services for round 2 of the selected complete streets program projects as stated in task order solicitation number 1 with a budget authority of $2,001,885, which includes a contingency. Mr. Sachs on number 2.
Yes, thank you very much, Arnold Sachs. So I looked at complete streets, and I'm wondering, signage for the streets, pavement markings, meters, bike lanes, signals, left turn signals, right turn signals, ADA compliance, sidewalks, right-of-ways, bus lanes, bus-only lanes, transit-oriented development, drainage for storms, parking zones, no parking zones, parking with height limitations. Am I missing anything from a complete street? Trees, I don't know if they count for complete streets because they're not in, and I don't even know if the right-of-way counts in a complete street. When you look at it like that, and then you say, okay, the public doesn't kind of like grasp that situation, but when the city acts and says, okay, we want complete streets, and they break it down into 13 different categories, where one category takes precedent over another, and then another category takes precedent over another, people get the runaround that, what exactly does this mean? Well, it means exactly what it says. We have a complete street program, and it consists of like 20 different categories, and each one of those categories has to be satisfied at some time in day and time, and when we get around to doing it, then we get around to doing it, and we'll have a complete street. Now, it may not happen in your lifetime, it certainly won't happen in my lifetime, but it'll happen. Trust me, that's what they say in Los Angeles.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Edwards, I think you're here on number 2.
Good morning, Gene Edwards with the Bureau of Engineering, Complete Streets Division. The report in front of you is to issue authorized to issue a task order number 1 for consultant services needed to advance the next round of Complete Streets projects. As required by City Council action on October 4th, shown in Transmittal 1 of the board report, the City Council instructed the Bureau of Engineering to proceed with the pre-planning and pre-design of the 12 new corridors of Complete Streets, which is known as Round 2 of the Complete Streets projects. Specifically, City Council instructed us to proceed with the pre-design of Culver Boulevard between Centinela and Slauson Avenue, La Brea Boulevard between Coliseum Street and Adams Boulevard, and Highland Avenue between Santa Monica Boulevard and Franklin Avenue. These 3 streets were identified to be advanced first because of the Vision Zero treatments for these locations will not result in major changes to the road configurations, and therefore it is anticipated that there will be strong public support for these projects. The City Council also instructed us to proceed with the pre-planning of the 9 projects remaining on the Round 2 list of projects. And this list is included in Attachment C of a Transmittal 1 of the board report. In all, the consultant will deliver 12 independent and comprehensive reports. That is 3 pre-design reports and 9 pre-planning reports. Details of all elements in each type of report is outlined in the task order solicitation contained in Transmittal number 2 of the board report. The task order solicitation was advertised on September 5th to all 26 consultant firms on the recently authorized on-call list of civil consultant personal services contracts. 2 proposals were received by the deadline on September 30th, one from Tetra Tech and the other from Alta Planning and Design. Both firms were interviewed and the proposals scored and ranked. Tetra Tech was selected having the best qualifications meeting the scoring criteria. Tetra Tech's proposal meets the minimum business inclusion program's outreach criteria for all criteria of participation levels, as outlined in the board report. Finally, SB1 gas tax funding in the amount of $2,001,855, which includes $400,000 in contingency, is available for this task order. That concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Any questions? We'll start with Commissioner Coloza on number 2.
Thanks, President James. No questions for me, but I just wanted to note, I think we accidentally uploaded starting from page 4, but if you click on the link to the materials, it has the full board report. I just wanted to know in case anybody was following on the materials.
I think we ran into this last time too, and we'll look into it again, but there seems to be 2 active links on the agenda. One is when you click on the title, you get the board report, and then there's the link to the left, which is the small acronym, and if you click on that, you get also the transmittals.
Did you guys have the same?
We'll work through that.
Oh, okay. Weird. Yeah, in this version, mine starts only on, I only get page 4. I just wanted to note
4?
that there's.
Okay, we'll correct
the
that and
full,
upload the correct one.
The full report is on
The full report's not there?
Yeah.
Understood.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anything else? Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you. The $2 million that is assigned for this, that's distributed throughout the whole, those council districts that were stated earlier. I know it's quite a few of them.
So the council districts listed on the board report happen to be the council districts where the 12 corridors are located.
Okay.
There's no, the actual jurisdiction of the council offices were not used in the selection of the streets whatsoever. So it just so happened that the criteria, which is based on the accidents, the severe injuries and deaths, and also the condition of the pavement, those are the 2 major criteria that was used like those 12 streams.
Got it. Thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you. Anything further? Is there a motion on number 2 by Commissioner Davis? Okay, seconded by Commissioner Caloza. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Thank you, sir.
Will that be going forthwith?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to thank you before I did that, but I'll jump right in there. All right, thank you, Mr. Edwards. Any objection to going forthwith on this? We'll do so. Have a good week. Agenda item number 3, task order solicitation number SN 61, amendment number 1, Tetra Tech. We see this one on occasion. Recommending that, this is from sanitation, recommending that the board authorize the director of sanitation or his designee to issue amendment number 1 to toss SN 61 to Tetra Tech to extend the term of engagement from September 8th, 2019 to September 8th, 2021. Obviously, that's a 2-year extension. Task order amount of $1,900,000 remains unchanged. Mr. Sachs waives number 3. Mr. Ball, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. My name is John Ball. I'm with LA Sanitation Watershed Protection Division. And as you mentioned today, we're recommending that you approve Amendment 1 to TOS SN 61, which is part of the LA Sanitation on-call contract. As you mentioned, the ceiling for this TOS will remain unchanged. We just need more time to complete the work. This TOS was awarded in August of 2016 to Tetra Tech, and the purpose of this TOS is to install water quality monitoring equipment at 25 monitoring stations located throughout the city's watersheds. This is in order to fulfill the monitoring and reporting requirements of the Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System Permit, also known as the MS4 permit or stormwater permit. LA San is the lead agency for conducting the monitoring on behalf of 29 other agencies in 4 of the city's main watersheds. And the data that will be obtained from these monitoring stations is critical for meeting the requirements of the MS4 permit. So we've encountered some delays. Mostly this was dealing with getting the appropriate permits to install our equipment. We're pretty much ready to move ahead with this and finish the work. So with your approval, we'd like to continue with this TOS. Any questions?
Any questions on this extension of time? Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you. Thanks for your board report. I had a question. Are some of these monitoring stations, are they coordinated with the existing PROPO projects?
There are a few. It's really driven by the MS4 permit, but at Machado Lake, there are some monitoring stations that monitor inputs into the lake, and that's both an MS4 permit requirement as well as a way of protecting our investment for the lake to monitor the inputs.
Is there a list of where I could find the monitoring stations?
Yeah, we have a list. I could provide that to you.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Commissioner Caloza.
Thank you, President James. Thanks for your report. I just had a quick question for the pledge subconsultant numbers. So I know that for the WBE, they had originally pledged 27.11%, and they achieved less than half of that. I know that's already higher than what a lot of these participation numbers are. I'm just curious to see what they were planning to do, if anything, for the extension of time, since the new number they pledge is actually even higher than the original, right, for a WBE?
Yeah, I think, I'm pretty confident that we can meet the pledges. There's still a lot of money left to be spent in this contract, and the Prime has done most of the work up front, getting the permits. There's some engineering work that has to be done to figure out which equipment needs to go where, and so they've done their work essentially. Now there's a lot of sub-consultants that will be utilized at this stage in the process, and I think that's where we'll start raising, and we'll be meeting those pledge numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Close. Anything else? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3, seconded by Commissioner Caloza. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any issue sending number 3 forthwith? We'll send number 3 forthwith. Agenda item number 4, task order solicitation SN 118, Geosyntec Consultants. This is for Council District 11. Recommending that the board authorize the director and general manager of sanitation or his designee to award TOS SN 118, to Geosyntec Consultants to provide technical expert services for the implementation of green stormwater infrastructure at the following locations: Kitty Hawk Avenue, located in the vicinity of 85th Place and Manchester Avenue, and B, Slauson Avenue, located in the vicinity of Culver Boulevard and Dawes Avenue. Secondly, approve the total budget not to exceed $370 for TOS number SN 118, and approve the term of engagement for the TOS to begin on the issuance date of the notice to proceed and to end on April 1, 2021. Mr. Sachs on number 4.
Yes, thank you again, Arnold Sachs. Number 4, a couple things. The green stormwater infrastructure is, this particular item is for 2 locations, but it's citywide. And after hearing the last presentation where they talked about the water improvement, it also included 4 cities, but the city of Los Angeles was the lead agency. So in this green stormwater infrastructure, is there other communities, other cities that are involved in it? Does the county have some unincorporated area that's involved in it? And again, the city of Los Angeles being the lead agency, does the city of Los Angeles bill these other communities for doing some of the work? Are they included, like maybe 5%, 10%, of the county get cost of it? And then I also thought about this. You have a task order solicitations, and you have requests for proposals. And I'm imagining that because they're task order solicitations, they go to the pre-qualified list, whereas requests for proposals would be open bidding. Kind of leaves a lot of people on the outside if you're not on the pre-qualified list, because you don't get a chance to qualify for any of the task orders. Kind of makes sense. But if you do requests for proposals, then you get an opportunity to do bidding for all these projects. And you might find that, hey, the bids might be lower because it's more democratic. There's a strange word to use in Los Angeles. Even in the county. That being said, I think we're done here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Tia.
Good morning, President James, Commissioner, City Attorney, Executive Officers, and Bureau Reps. My name is Ryan Thea with LA Sanitation and Watershed Protection. Today, LA San is asking for the recommendation from the board to authorize the Director of LA Sanitation or his designee to award the TOS SN 118 to Geosyntec Consultants to implement green stormwater infrastructure at 2 locations with a total budget approval of $1,675,370 with the time of engagement to end on April 1, 2021. The general locations of the 2 projects are A, Kitty Hawk Avenue, located in the vicinity of 85th Place, and Manchester Avenue in Westchester neighborhood of Council District 11. Another location is on Slauson Avenue, located in the vicinity of Culver Boulevard in Delray and Cypress Grove neighborhood. The breakdown for each project is $989,000 for Kitty Hawk Greenway project and $687,000 for Slauson Green Alley. So these 2 supplemental projects, supplemental environmental projects, or SEPs that we call, were identified in the Administrative Civil Liability Order issued by the Regional Water Quality Control Board for an authorized discharge of floatable materials of sewage origin from Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant that occurred in September 2015. LA San and Regional Water Board reached a settlement agreement to implement GSIs, or Green Stormwater Infrastructure projects, at these 2 areas that are located within the vicinity of the unauthorized discharge. The settlement agreement requires the city to complete the construction of these 2 projects by April 2020, which is a few months away from today. The scope for Kitty Hawk Greenway includes pre-treatment systems, infiltration dry wells on public right-of-way, as well as the improvement to the pedestrian walkway nearby. Once completed, the Kitty Hawk Greenway project will be able to capture and infiltrate stormwater from 20 acres of drainage areas. The other project, Slauson Green Alley, the scope includes improving the drainage, paving about 500 feet of existing and improved alley with permeable pavers, sediment removal system, and a connection to an existing storm drain system. Once completed, Slauson Green Alley will be able to capture and treat stormwater runoff from about 2 acres and reduce the flooding that occasionally occurs when it rains. LSN issued a task order solicitation in August of this year and selected geocentric consultants and their sub-consultant team for this contract. The notice of selection was issued in September, and geocentric consultant conducted a good faith outreach to sub-consultants and pledged 65% of the total amount, or about $1 million, to sub-consultants. With that, that concludes my presentation to the board, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tias. So we've had a number of these, most recently CD2. There might have been a couple of other council districts, but I remember CD2, maybe CD5. And I know that your office provided myself and at least Commissioner Colosa, maybe others, with kind of the list of these projects that are remaining. Do we have any others? Is there one more CD2 wing that's coming to the board, or are we done there?
We're done. These are the two last projects that we wanted to present to the board.
This one?
This set of projects are the last
Okay,
ones.
so nothing additional on this toss?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you. Commissioner Colosa?
Thank you, President James. I just had a question. So I know you guys only received one proposal for this specific TOS. Was there any, is that something that's ever been done before in terms of us reissuing, the TOS again to see if we can get more at a later time? I'm just curious, since it's only one that we received, and then the pledge numbers aren't great for at least two of the categories. For, the WBE, they pledge 1.5 out of 4%, and then SBE 4.8 out of 25%, which is not great.
Correct. The first part of the question, when we receive just one bid, and if the quality of one proposal, and if the quality isn't what we expect, we will re-advertise it to get better quality or more numbers. But in this case, we have a really aggressive schedule to meet the settlement agreement with the regional board. As we mentioned, the construction completion date is at the end of March. So we have a really strict deadline that probably discouraged some of the qualifying consultants to be able to submit a proposal because they're not able to commit to that completion date. So that is the reason, and we believe that Geocentric Consultants has a really good track records and experience in completing this kind of small-scale, fast-paced projects in the stormwater infrastructure type projects. So we had a pretty good confidence that they were able to complete the projects. Because of those reasons, we decided not to re-advertise. So two issues. One is we feel like they have a pretty good handle based on the proposal they provided. Two, because of the aggressive schedules that is set in the settlement agreement. The other part of the question, as it has to go back to the schedule, because they have to work really fast-paced at two locations. Not a lot of small business are able or willing to participate or commit to this time frame. That is the reason why we see a smaller percentage of the WBMB overall category than what we typically see, which is about 75 to 85% total.
And then I know this one is tied to a settlement, right?
Correct.
So this one, just to confirm, there's no council motion or anything attached to this one, right?
As far as I'm aware of, no, there's no council motion. There's just the settlement agreement with the city and regional water board.
Okay.
But that settlement agreement had to have been approved by council, correct, Mr.
Jordan?
I'm not sure if this one was or not. They don't always, but it is a agreement that the city has entered into with all the approvals that were necessary to enter into that settlement. So now this supplemental environmental project is one of the things that we are required under that agreement to implement. So, but I recall this one when it occurred, and I recall that it went through all of the approvals that it needed to. I just don't recall whether that included council. It may very well have been, but if it didn't, it wasn't necessary. We looked at that at the time, though, when it went through.
Is that a document that you can share with us? Just curious.
Yes, it is a public document that we can openly share, yes.
Okay, yeah, that would be helpful, just because I know that these are similar in scope to the other projects that was before board last Friday,
Correct.
but those were council-driven, and this is driven by settlement.
That is correct.
Is there, let me see. The maintenance on this, just to confirm, that's also sanitation. You guys would own and operate all of this?
That is correct. As you may have noted, the time of completion for this contract is a year after the construction completion, so we're going to have the contractors make sure that all the project components work for the first season, and then sanitation will take over the long-term operation and maintenance of these projects.
Okay, I don't have any other questions right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Closa. Commissioner Villegas.
I lost my train of thought.
Well, let's see. We'll have Commissioner Davis, and then we'll come back to you. It happens to me, to everybody, I think. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I just have some basic questions about the project. It is a federally funded project, or is it a locally funded project?
The funds are coming from sanitation, wastewater funds, and stormwater abatement funds.
Okay, and in terms of the timeline of the project, in terms of beginning the construction of the project, it's not done yet. They're not working on it now.
We have worked on preliminary design, so we know what components we want to put in. We selected the sites. We have to finalize the detailed designs in the next couple of weeks after we issue the NTP with Geocenter Consultants. We hope to ground break within 2 weeks.
Okay.
And finish the construction by March.
By March.
At the end of March, yes.
Okay, and obviously we expect to be on budget and on time, within budget.
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right, so we'll look forward to that. I think that's all the questions that I have for you on this one.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Villegas.
Hi, I remembered. So sorry about that. If these aren't approved, there's violations, correct?
That is correct. These projects, so this is a promise that we made in lieu of paying the penalties to the Regional Water Board. Yes.
Just wanted to put that on record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Anything further? Commissioner Davis? Nope. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 4, seconded by Commissioners Villegas and Garcia. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any issue sending number 4 forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith. Number 5, Office of Community Beautification in Council District 12, an encroachment in the public right-of-way for the Granada Hills Improvement Association, recommending that the board authorize OCB to grant revocable permission to encroach within the public right-of-way, subject to listed conditions to the Granada Hills Improvement Association. The encroachment is the installation of 16 litter receptacles along Chatsworth between Encino Avenue and Lindley Avenue in Granada Hills. That's Council District 12. Secondly, authorize the city engineer to issue a no-fee revocable permit for the work to be performed. Third, authorize the city engineer to issue a no-fee A permit for work to be performed. And fourth, authorize OCB to request the Bureau of Contract Administration to provide a no-fee inspection of the project. Mr. Sachs, you have a card on number 5.
Sir, thank you. Arnold Sachs, and this is one of my pet peeves with the city of Los Angeles. You have the Granada Hills Improvement Association, which oversees the Granada Hills Improvement District. I would think that you would want to give the money to the district and not to the association. Real problem. along Chatsworth Street. I thought Chatsworth was an avenue. Isn't it Chatsworth Avenue, not Chatsworth Street? And then there's something missing from this, and it actually comes from Mayor Garcetti. A few months ago, he authorized some trash bins for the Skid Row area because of the buildup of trash, but he did not authorize pickup from the Skid Row trash bins that he put into the Skid Row area. So I'm wondering, I don't see any authorization to pick up the trash from the blue bins that are being put out by the Granada Hills Improvement Association. Who would be responsible for emptying the trash bins? Or will they just like pile up? And then one other question. I have the city council minutes from the city council agenda for tomorrow. On the back page, it says exhaustion of administrative remedies. Are there any administrative remedies you could take on any of these actions taken before the Board of Public Works? I appreciate the fact that we do 2 minutes here on all the items, or 12, whatever it is, but I don't see anything in your agenda regarding administrative remedies is it just an appeal before the board here? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Valido, and it is Chatsworth Street. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, President James, commissioners, members of the board. Hope everybody had a nice holiday. Jerry Valido, Assistant Director of the Office of Community Beautification. The Granada Hills Improvement Association is continuing with the second phase of litter receptacle installations. In 2018, the bid installed 20 litter receptacles through the adopt-a-median process, and the community was very excited for the initial phase, and we're looking forward to this second round of installations. In the second phase, there will be 16 new decorative litter receptacles installed along Chatsworth Street between Encino Avenue and Lindley Avenue. The Granada Hills Improvement Association has partnered with J&B Landscaping to provide trash removal 2 to 3 times per week, along with the wiping down of the receptacles and keeping them graffiti-free as stated in their maintenance agreement. Installation plans were reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Engineering, and full support for the project has been given by Council District 12. OCB requests that the board adopt this project so that we may continue with the permitting phase.
Thank you, sir. You have a question?
I do have a quick question, and you slightly answered about who's going to keep the maintenance. The 60 new receptacles, and so you said who? A landscape company?
They're the same contractor, if you recall, with the hanging flower baskets.
Okay.
J&B Landscaping.
Got it.
Yeah, so they'll be doing the maintenance.
And will the Granada Hills Improvement Association pay the landscape out of their funds, or is it coming out of some of ours?
Yes, every adopt-a-median project that comes through our office, the funds are always generated by the constituent group. There's no funding ever provided by the city for these projects.
Got it. Thank you for that clarification.
All right, thank you. And I would just say hats off to the Granada Hills Improvement Association, and we love it when these community organizations come in and partner with us on these projects. Quite frankly, it makes us look good. So that was Commissioner Garcia's motion, and seconded by Commissioner Davis. I'll second it as well. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Any issue sending number 5 forthwith? We will send number 5 forthwith. Mr. Knight, I think that clears us on our voting items and takes us to our monthly, or to rather one of our oral reports.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, agenda item number 9, monthly status of contracts expiring within 90 days. This is today. It will be on Streets LA. Ms. Ostrander, there you are.
Good morning. Pamela Ostrander, Streets LA. Currently, Streets LA has one contract that's expiring within 90 days. It is our recycling and/or disposal of inert materials and other various materials. The contract originally expired on September 25th, 2019. It's currently extended under an AFE until December 31st. The bids were received October 4th. It's currently in review with contract administration. However, with the late date and the holidays coming up, the contract's not expected to be awarded by December 31st, so therefore I'll probably be coming back to the board next week with a time extension for about another month until the bid can bid and award process can be completed.
So you'll be here next week before we go on recess?
Correct.
Because you've got a December 31 expiration date.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. If you need Ms. Ostrander for that to be on a special, we always like to avoid it, but I would rather do a special than have the deadline hit us. So it sounds like you might still have some time to avoid that, but if you need a special, then let us know.
It's per contract administration, the contract's expected out of them December 10th. However, this contract will need to go through ED review, so that's why I know it's going to have to go through, the ED3 review, so it's going to take a little bit longer.
Okay. And Mr. Knight, just so everybody's clear, our last meeting for this item to be heard before we hit a recess will be the 18th of December? Wednesday, the 18th of December.
That is correct.
Okay, so we're not meeting on December 20th. We are meeting on Wednesday, December 18th. Got it. Thank you. So we're clear. Any questions from Ms. Ostrander? Thank you, ma'am. Your report will be received. I think we have cleared the desk.
That's correct.
Okay, then we are adjourned, everyone. Welcome back and have a nice week.